Hello students, welcome to the course Lasers, Fundamentals and Applications. In the first module, we have learned about the introduction to lasers, their various characteristics. We have also learned the population inversion condition and about the metastable state. We have also studied the three processes that is happening in the lasers, namely the absorption, spontaneous emission and stimulated emission respectively. In this second module, we are going to study the different pumping schemes and laser rate equations. So, in the today's lecture, we are going to study different pumping schemes used in the lasers, namely 2-level pumping scheme, 3-level pumping scheme and 4-level pumping scheme. We will also study why the 2-level pumping scheme is not used in the laser. We will also study the relative merits and demerits of the 3-level and 4-level pumping schemes. So, let us start with the 2-level pumping scheme. We know that the pumping means the raising or lifting the atoms from the lower energy level to higher energy level in order to create the state of population inversion. Let us study the 2-level pumping scheme. From the given figure, it can be seen that the 2-level scheme is more simple and straightforward pumping scheme. That means we have to lift the atoms from this level to this level and create the population inversion in the upper energy level. But in the case of lasers, this pumping scheme is not useful because it has certain drawbacks. We cannot produce the state of population inversion with the use of this 2-level pumping scheme. We can make this conclusion from following considerations. So, we know that the population inversion requires that the lifting of the atoms from the lower energy level to the higher energy level, and we have to create the population of the upper energy level higher than that of the lower energy level. In doing that, in the case of 2-level pumping scheme, if we try to lift the atom from the lower energy level to the higher energy level, that we need the upper energy level should have the, when we lift atom from the lower energy level to the upper energy level, the atoms must stay there for longer time durations. So, we know that the population inversion is the building of population in the upper energy level than that of the lower energy level. That means making the population of upper energy level greater than that of the lower energy level. This can be possible only when the atoms in the upper energy level stay there for longer time than they decays. We know that the process of spontaneous emission, in this process the atoms in the excited state, they will decay to the ground state or lower energy level, and it has very short lifetime or very short duration for which the atom can remain in the excited state. In order to build up the population inversion in the excited state, we need to have the excited state having more or longer lifetime, right. So, if our excited state or upper energy level has longer lifetime, then we can achieve the population inversion in that case. In this case, in the two level laser scheme, if we have the population, the lifetime of the upper energy level higher, then from the, that means in order to maintain or create the state of population inversion, the lifetime delta T of the upper level E2 must be higher. That means the lifetime of the excited state is higher, and therefore the atoms, they will stay there for longer time and before they decays, right, and therefore the state of population inversion can be created. But by Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we know that by Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, the lifetime delta T and line width delta E2 of the upper level are related by, so this delta E2 into delta T must be greater than equal to H cross. That means if the lifetime delta T of the excited state, if it is higher, that means the line width of the excited state must be very narrow, or it is a very narrow single line. But it has some drawbacks. That means if our excited state is very narrow, we need only specific frequency to pump that energy level. That means we need very specific frequency to pump that energy level, and in practice we may not have that particular frequency, that specific frequency to leave the atoms. Even if we have that kind of frequency to pump the atoms or to pump that level, the efficiency will be very low because of the narrowness of the excited state, right. Another drawback of this scheme is that if we use the pumping radiation of some particular frequency, the same pumping radiation we use to pump the atoms from the lower energy level to the higher energy level, it also stimulates or triggers the atom from the excited state to the lower state. That means the same radiation used to pump the level E2 it also depopulates the level E2. That means the same radiation populates and depopulates the upper level simultaneously, and therefore we cannot achieve the population inversion. All that we may achieve a state where the system having equally populated levels. We can use more pumping power to pump the atoms, but all that we can only create the system of equally populated levels. More than that we cannot do. That means we need to consider the atoms or elements, they are having 3 or more than 3 energy levels, right. So this can be possible in the case of 3 level and 4 level pumping scheme. The transition between 2 levels that generate the stimulated emission is called as lasing transition, and the upper energy level is called as the upper laser level. The terminal laser level is called as lower laser level. The transition from the ground state to the excited state is called as pumping transition. Let us now study the 3-level pumping scheme. The 3-level pumping scheme is shown in figure. In the 3-level scheme, lower laser level is either the ground state or a level whose separation from ground state is less than kT, where K is the Boltzmann constant and T is the room temperature. So, if the separation of the lower laser level is less than kT, then we can say that there is enough population at room temperature in that level. So, in the case of 3-level pumping scheme, what we have is the 3 energy levels E1, E2 and E3. The upper energy level E3 is called as pumping level. From the lower level E1, we pump the atoms to the upper energy level E3, right? Instead of a single narrow line, the pumping level must be a energy band or band of energies. The atoms from the excited state or the pumping level, they fall back to the level E2, which is a metastable state. And the transition between E3 to E2, we call it non-radiative transition. So, the transition is non-radiative. The level E2 must be metastable state. Metastable state means its lifetime must be of the order of 10 raised to minus 9 to 10 raised to minus 8 second. In the case of excited state, we know that the lifetime is of the order of 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to minus 3 second. And therefore, the atoms, they fall from the excited state to the level E2. From level E3 to E2, they will stay there for longer time, and if the pumping agent pumping the atoms from the level E1 to E3, the atoms, they fall immediately to level E2, and the population inversion can be achieved between the level E2 and E1. So, to pump the excited level, we use the pump frequency. So, nu P is equal to E3 minus E1 upon H cross. And when we pump the atoms from the lower level to the higher energy level, the atoms in the excited state or level E3, they fall back to the level E2 by non-radiative transitions, and we can say the population of the level E2 goes on increasing because it is a metastable state, and population inversion can be achieved between level E2 and E1. When the population inversion is achieved between level E2 and E1, one of the photon that fall due to the spontaneous transition from level E2 to E1, that photon creates the or triggers the process of stimulated emission in this case, right? The spontaneous photon that stimulates the atom from the excited state, or let us say the level E2 to the level E1, and this process creates more stimulated emissions and we get laser output in here. So, we can say the lower laser level E1 is the ground state. That means it has very large number of atoms there, right? So, very large number of atoms in the ground state. So, in this case we have to lift more than half of the atoms to level E2. Then and then the population inversion can be created in between level E1 and E2, right? So, the population inversion can be achieved only if more than half of the atoms are lifted or pumped to the level E2, and that can be done only if we have very high pumping power. That means in this process we require very large pumping power. So this is one of the drawback. Another drawback of this 3-level pumping scheme is that in the 3-level pumping scheme we get pulse output. It is because as soon as the population inversion is achieved and the laser starts operating or the stimulated emission commences or begins, the atoms they start falling to the level E1, and immediately the population inversion will be lost, because the atoms, there will be much more atoms in the lower level E1, and whatever the atoms we have pumped here, they will fall back in a short duration, and for that short duration only the laser will be operating. Again it will stop operating for short time. Again our pumping agent will lift the atoms to the upper energy level, and these atoms they will be available for lasing or stimulated emission at level E2. When the population inversion is again created between E2 and E1, then our laser will again start lasing. That means in the case of 3-level scheme we get pulse output, right? So these two are the drawbacks of 3-level pumping scheme. The 4-level pumping scheme is shown in the figure. The 4-level pumping scheme, in the 4-level pumping scheme, the terminal laser level or the lower laser level is not the ground state, but it is the level which is sufficiently higher energy that of the ground state. That means the energy of the level E2 or the separation between the two levels must be very, very greater than kT. So this condition guarantees that the population, there are no atoms in the level E2. There are no or very few atoms in the terminal laser level E2. So in this case, similar to the 3-level pumping scheme, the atoms they are lifted from the lower laser level to the upper laser level. So from E1 to E4 the pumping is done. So that means the atoms are lifted from the ground state to level E4. So E4 is our pumping level, E3 is the metastable state, and population inversion is created between E3 and E2, right? So when the atoms they are lifted from level E1 to E4, the atom they immediately falls to level E3, and in this process it is a non-radiative transition. So the transition between E4 and E3 is a non-radiative transition. Since the level E3 is a metastable state, the atoms they stay there for longer time. So we know that the metastable states have lifetime of the order of 10 raised to minus 9 to 10 raised to minus 8 second, and therefore what we have, immediately the atoms, very few atoms are lifted from the ground state. The atoms they are available at the level E3, and population inversion will be achieved. It is because the lower laser level E2 is virtually empty, and therefore population inversion can be easily achieved between these two levels E3 and E2. A photon fall due to the spontaneous process from level E2 to E1 that triggers these stimulated transitions between the two levels, and therefore we can say once the stimulated emission commences, we get the lasing transitions. Again, the atoms they are coming to level E2, they are going back to the level E1 or the ground state by the process of fast decay, and therefore they are immediately available for pumping. So, one of the merit of the 4-level pumping scheme is that in the 4-level pumping scheme our terminal laser level is virtually empty, and because of that, with the pumping of very few atoms, we can achieve the state of population inversion and we can start lasing, or our laser will start lasing, and therefore very low pumping power is required in the case of 4 laser level. As in the case of 3-level laser, what we have studied is the large pumping power was requiring there. Also, the lifetime of level E2 is very short, and therefore the output or the atoms that are coming to level E2, they are immediately going to level E1, and therefore they are immediately available for pumping, and therefore there is no accumulation of the atoms in the level E2, and therefore this laser or 4-level scheme requires low pumping power. Also, the atoms, with the very few atoms, the laser can start operating, and the atoms that are coming to the terminal laser level, they are immediately available for lasing, or they are immediately available for further pumping, and therefore we can maintain population inversion for longer time, and therefore the 4-level laser operates in the continuous wave mode, whereas in the case of 3-level laser, we have studied it operates in the pulse mode only. Let us now study the relative merits and demerits of the 3-level and 4-level pumping schemes. In the case of 3-level laser, what we have studied is that the terminal laser level is the ground state, and we know that the ground state is not empty, so it has very large number of atoms at the ground state. That means, in order to achieve the population inversion, we have to pump more than half of the atoms from the ground state to the excited state, and they should be available for lasing action. The metastable state is the upper energy level E2, where the enough population can be maintained, and population inversion will be created between level E2 and E1. In the case of 3-level laser, what we have, we need to pump more than half of the atoms to the upper energy level or excited state, and therefore we need large pump power. So, one of the demerits of this scheme is large pump power is required. Whereas in the case of 4-level laser, our lower laser level is not the ground state. It is the level which is much higher than that of the ground state, and therefore by the process of thermal we can say excitations, there are very few atoms, they are at the terminal laser level or lower laser level E2, and therefore in this case what we have, the very few atoms, if you pump from the lower laser level, they are immediately available for lasing, right? Because the population inversion will be created between level E3 and E2, and whatever atoms they are coming to level E3 from level E4, immediately they are available, because population inversion will be created with very few atoms, and therefore the 4-level laser requires very less pump power. Very low pump power is required. So we also know that, so it has 3 energy levels, whereas it has 4 energy levels. In the case of 3 level energy level, the lower laser level is the ground state. In the case of 4 level laser, the lower laser level is not the ground state, but a state which is having enough separation from the ground state, so that in the case of thermal equilibrium, there are very few atoms will be there due to the thermal excitations. So because of that, what we have, the population inversion can be easily created in the case of 4 level scheme than in the case of 3 level scheme. Another thing in the 3 level laser is that we have to lift more than half of the atoms, and we need to continuously pump the atoms to the upper energy level, so that they are available for lasing action. That means population inversion will be created only if more than half of the atoms are lifted to level E2, right? And again, when the population inversion is achieved, the laser starts lasing by the process of stimulated emission. When this laser action starts, the atoms, they again fall back to the ground state, and the population inversion is immediately lost. And because of that, our laser stops lasing, and therefore what we get is pulse output, because we again need to pump the atoms to the excited state, and again we need to wait till the population inversion can be achieved, and therefore the 3 level scheme, the laser gives us pulse output. So it works in the pulse output mode. In the case of 4 level laser, it works in the continuous mode. So it works in the continuous wave mode, because what we have in the case of 4 laser level, the atoms, very few atoms can start the create the population inversion and start the lasing action. And since the level E2 is not the metastable state, lower laser level is not the metastable state, the atoms that are coming due to the spontaneous or stimulated transitions from level E3 to E2, they are immediately go back to the level E1, and they are immediately available for again pumping. And therefore there is no time lag there, because the pumping agent continuously pumping the atoms, and these atoms, they are coming to level E3, and population inversion again achieved. Population inversion will be maintained there for longer time, and therefore that 4 level laser will work in the continuous wave mode. So these are some of the merits and demerits of the 3 and 4 level lasers. So we have some examples of the 3 level and 4 level laser. So example is, for 3 level laser, it is ruby laser, and in the case of 4 level laser, so example is helium neon laser or HENE laser is the example. So these are the drawbacks, or let's say merits and demerits of 3 and 4 level laser. So in the today's lecture, we have studied different pumping schemes used in the lasers. We also learned that 2 level laser scheme or 2 level laser pumping scheme cannot be used in the laser, because we cannot create the population inversion in the case of 2 level laser scheme. We have also studied the 3-level laser scheme, in which the terminal laser level is the ground state, and in the 3-level scheme we need very high pumping power, because we need to lift more than half of the atoms to the excited state in order to achieve the population inversion. So, in the case of 3-level laser, the population inversion is achieved between the level E2 and E1. Immediately the atoms, they fall from the level E2 to E1 by spontaneous transition or stimulated transition, and the population inversion can be lost, or it can be remain for very short duration. So, in the case of 3-level laser, the population inversion is achieved between level E2 and E1, and when the laser starts operating, the atoms from level E2, they go to the level E1 by stimulated transitions, and population inversion is immediately lost, and again we need to wait till the population inversion is again achieved. That means we need to pump more atoms to the excited state. Therefore, it requires very high pumping power, and it works in the pulse output mode. One of the example is ruby laser. Now, we have also studied the 4-level laser. In this laser, in the 4-level laser, what we have is the terminal laser level is not the ground state, and the terminal laser level or lower laser level is also virtually empty, and therefore, if we pump very few atoms to the excited state, they are available for lasing action, and population inversion can be easily achieved between level E3 and E2. And since E2 is not excited state, since E2 is not metastable state, the atoms, they are again fall back to the ground state immediately, and they are available for lasing action, and therefore we require very low pumping power in the case of 4-level laser scheme. Also, the 4-level laser works in the continuous wave mode. The example of 4-level laser is HE laser or helium neon laser. In the next lecture, we are going to study the laser rate equations for 2-level laser, 3-level laser and 4-level lasers. Thank you very much.